that might be able to help the Rangers. So there's a lot of different things going on here. So it's all good stuff, and it's something to look forward to in 2020. So KD, as we're wrapping up this episode here, first of all, we definitely want to thank everybody who's been tuning in, and we'll be getting back to our regular shows here right after New Year's. But let me ask you, what's been your favorite part of this 2019, end of this 2019. We don't have to talk about the end of last year, but as far as this rebuild, this new campaign that the Rangers are doing, the direction they're going, whether it's a player, a stretch of games, a headline, what's been your favorite so far, with this new season and this new team here for the Rangers?
I think it's just watching the young kids sort of develop. I mean, you always love to see the young kids develop. Anytime any team that I am rooting for, whether it's in baseball or whatnot, or basketball, football, the sort of rookie guys coming up always sort of breathe sort of excitement and enthusiasm sort of into the fan base, and I think it's doing that here with all these young guys like Kakos and the Foxes and whatnot here, and even seeing guys like Buchnevich in bigger roles. And I just enjoy and I've said this a number of times on the podcast, I just enjoy the build, the watching this team climb from, the letter to the cleaning house to the drafting of these guys, and now seeing them on the ice and the process that they're going through. Some of them, being sent down, some of them staying up, some of them going overseas and then coming back. I mean, it's just the process itself. I really enjoy. It's so much more enjoyable to watch this build go along than it is let's just pluck every high-priced free agent, like I mentioned before, that this team used to do. And now that actually build sort of a foundation is exciting for me, and should be exciting for Ranger fans. I mean, look, you can always complain about, the day-to-day decisions and the lineup decisions, but, overall big picture, seeing the direction that the team is going and a lot of these hard decisions that we're talking about, I think a lot of fan bases would kill to be worried about which great goaltender should be getting the majority of starts, and to even have another goaltender waiting in the wings in the AHL. Or, our problem is that we have a bunch of prospects who aren't getting a chance because there's other prospects ahead of them and they're getting frustrated. Like, how many other fan bases would again kill for that opportunity to have their team in that position where they have so many good young prospects and players that others are getting frustrated because they're not getting enough time. I mean, it's a real, as our slogan is, it's a real good problem to have around here. And to me, this has been the most exciting part of the rebuild, is just seeing these young kids sort of going through the process, the bumps along the way, the trials and tribulations. It's fun to watch. And then, the vets, for them to be on the bench and watch a Panarin do his thing will only sort of help these kids grow and become even better players. So to me, it's just the young kids and the excitement surrounding them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there 100%. And, for me personally, I just, defensively, obviously, they've been struggling. But you look at Tony DeAngelo, Foxy, even Brady Shea, I know he gets beat up a lot, and Jacob Trouba, those four studs there, they're going to figure this out. They're all young guys. It's a new system, whether it's working on the rough and a second-year coach here with Quinn. But, man, those are four studs defensively that this organization has. And if Keandre Miller comes in here in the next year or two, defensively, we're going to be one of the best in the league. And then sandwiched with, on the back end and the front of them, you're going to have either, whatever. If it's Hank for another year or two, which is probably not going to happen. But if it's Georgiev and you got Shesty, defensively, this organization is going to be stacked. I don't care what anybody says. It's from the net out. That's how you win championships in the NHL. In any hockey, you got to be solid in the nets and you got to be solid defensively. This Ranger team is going to figure it out. Offensively, it's been just a blast watching Panarin, and Zibanejad just a home run, and these other guys will figure it out. Capo will get it. Stromer's doing his job. We're in a good situation with Kreider, one way or the other, prospects and so on and so forth. Buchnevich and the rest of these guys, they'll figure it out. But defensively and from the net out, this organization is stacked, and that's what we need going forward, and that's eventually what's going to get this team deep. And it goes back to when we went to the finals, back in 2014. It was Hank and it was defense. It was McDonough and the guys and stuff like that, and that's what kind of got us through it. And it'll happen again. And that's what Trotz is doing there in Long Island. And Trotz has always done that with his teams in Nashville, and he did it with the Capitals too, Holtby and everybody had defensively there in Washington. I'm not never going to profess that I know everybody's name and stuff like that, but I just know that defensively it starts from the net out, and I love those guys, and I think that's just great. And I'll take the extra 40 shots. And you talk about development. Georgie's seeing a lot of rubber. That's okay. Hank probably needs to see it anyway, kind of keep him loose and limber and stuff like that. It keeps him in the game, and that'll hopefully help him one way or the other, which will ultimately help this team out. But that's my favorite thing right now is the defensive core that we have, and the fact that we got a kid like Keandre Miller also coming down the pipe as well too. So if we've got those 5 guys in this lineup for the next whatever it is, if they can do it financially, whatever the cap is and contracts and so on and so forth, that's one of the big things that Ranger fans should really kind of look at as a whole, because that's the glue that's going to develop anything. Because forwards, and we've got Panarin, we've got Mika, so they can interchange all that stuff going down the road offensively. And if other top prospects, free agents and everything else, and they look at us defensively, they're going to want to come here and want to play for us. And who knows what opens up here down in the free agency. And the Rangers have the money, and they'll get the guys that we need to get in here. So I look at that core. That defensive core is going to really just kind of extend success for us down the road. There's no doubt about it for me. So that's my favorite thing about 2019 and going forward. And the last thing I'll just say, too, is, with Quinn, second-year coach, man, I think the Rangers as an organization, they might I think that'll be the big thing, KD, going forward with the next couple of months, too. That'll always be there. And, again, I've said it. It's going to take a major spiral. I think Quinn's got these guys in a way that they won't do that. But I think that's the only way Quinn loses his job here, is if they go into a really bad tailspin. And then they might have to look at it and say, hey, with all these guys, these prospects defensively and everything else, they might need to bring in a veteran coach or something like that to kind of take them in a different direction. And that ultimately is wherever JD stands and Gorton stands in terms of, like I said, what we were talking about before. How important is it to get into the playoffs financially, economically, and all that stuff. But that's my favorite thing right there, Katie, is that defensive core. I think it's phenomenal, and it's huge, and they will straighten it out. Defensemen are some of the smartest guys on the ice. They'll adapt. They'll get better. And not only defensively will they get better, but, they're offensive studs too, and that's just going to be for special teams, power play, everything else. I think that's huge, and I think the Rangers in a great spot right there.
Yeah, I love everything you're saying. I'm with you.
And that's the other thing, buddy, I love about this team. It brought me and you back together, buddy, to do this show.
There you go. This is fun. I missed it the last 2 weeks. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm screaming at my kids. I'm like, Strome is awesome. How can you complain about him like that? I didn't. Who the heck is Strome?
Well, buckle up, man. We got a lot of hockey coming our way, man. So looking forward to. All right, buddy, let's do the you got to have at least, you've had 12 days now. What's your KD Rangers man crush of the week, buddy? Come on, for the end of 2019. Give it to us, buddy.
Well, I don't think it's been a player once since we've been doing this, I'm going to give it to my man, Connor McStrome.
All right.
The guy has just gotten too much heat from Ranger fans this year. I went over everything about him before. I think he's really stepped up this year. I love the chemistry that he's had with Panarin, especially lately. His rifle of a goal the other night in Toronto was pretty sweet, where, I guess the coaching staff has been telling him he needs to shoot more, and boy, did he shoot. He just ripped it upper corner. So, if we're going to start seeing that element to his game now, where he's, shooting these sort of heat-seeking missiles now, it's going to make him even better. I think he deserves a little love this week for all the hate that he gets somehow from Ranger fans. It's sort of amazing that when a player is playing well, there's a segment of Ranger fans that want to bring him down and sort of criticize him, or, like I said before, but an asterisk next to why he's playing well. but then they'll make excuses for players who aren't playing well. Like, well, they're on a fourth line with Haley and this guy, and that's why he's not playing well. There's a lot of like love for the players who aren't playing well and hate for the ones that are. It's just baffling to me sometimes. But either way, Strome is my man crush of the week.
Bravo, I agree, buddy. That's good stuff, man. I'll take that to the bank. It's been a fun start of this season for these guys, and it's been great to come back and do this show with you too. And I think, like I said, it's all, it's good stuff, good problems to have. We talked about here, and I'm looking forward to the other side of this, and I hope it starts with a win in Edmonton tomorrow night, buddy. Well, look, man, I want to wish you, KD, a very happy New Year's, man, and to all our fans as well, too. And KD, say goodbye to the folks and let them know what you're thinking here about 2020 real quick.
Happy New Year, everybody. Don't drink too much on New Year's Eve. We don't need a hangover going into the new year. And hopefully the Rangers won't have one either. And, everything will work out for us. Don't worry, Ranger fans. Don't get too panicked. We're heading in the right direction. Things will work out. Parade down the canyons of heroes in 3 to 4 years.
You heard it, buddy. It's on tape there, folks. Hey, everybody, Happy New Year. Thanks for listening to Go Rangers Radio. And let's go Rangers. Take care, everybody.